So a coworker and I were having a conversation during one of our social emotional learning meetings, and he made mention of a school that he used to work at where the attendance rate was like 48%, and the students didn't graduate, they weren't passing, and how everything in that school was a hot mess. And I asked him, I said, what was your relationships like with the people there? He says, oh, they were horrible, they didn't like the kids, they were condescending, they spoke poorly about them, sometimes even to their faces. And I said, were you surprised about the attendance? Because if I don't feel welcome to the space, I'm not coming to that space. And so this morning, yesterday my coach sent me an email, and she says, do an energy audit for me, and I want you to figure out the people in your life that bring you energy, that you look forward to seeing, that lift you up, make you feel supported. And then I want you to make a list of the people who drain your energy, the people whose communication you put off responding to, maybe even some of the people that you feel you don't like engaging in conversation in because everything they say is about them. They never really ask you how you're doing. And so I did that this morning. The results, I feel like I knew it, right? Because when I asked Ron, I was like, babe, I did this energy audit and only 2 names came up on the list. So who you think those people are? He named them right off the top. And I said, how'd you know that? And he said, because these are the people that you always when you interact with them. He says, you'll text me at work or you'll call me, or it's like you have to recover from being around them. I was like, dang. First off, my baby listens to me, so that made me feel good on the inside. Secondly, I was like, I knew this, but writing it down and then having someone else affirm it, I did something different. So I'm putting these two together, and I'm like, what if we did an energy audit for students? What if you did an energy audit for your kids so that they could share with you, hey mom, hey dad, you drain me. Hey teacher, hey professor, you drain me. I don't think we're as sometimes reflective as we want to give ourselves credit for. And this year I'm trying to be super intentional about the way I show up. And you're going to see me on here more often, because as God gives me epiphanies and things, I want to share them. I'm not going to keep them to myself. I'm not going to hold them for a special occasion. I just want to share it. I want to come here and I want to share what I'm doing and what I'm learning, so that you can hopefully find some benefit from it. But this morning, I'm on day 24, Upon Awaken, Jackie Hill Perry, and she made mention of how David was so secure in God, right? When he wrote in Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for your rod and your staff, they comfort me. And putting all those thoughts together, I'm like, okay, where do I find comfort? And she also set up this really cool dichotomy between what good is and what evil is. And sometimes he says, when I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for your rod and your staff, they comfort me. And she made the comparison that evil is not just bad and wickedness. Evil is adversity. Evil is anything that sets itself up against good. So depression, evil, right? Injustice, evil. And so, again, with that frame of mind, when I go through adversity, do I look for God's rod and staff? Do I look for God's comfort when I hit hard times? Or am I looking for a quick fix? Am I looking for something that'll soothe, something that'll satisfy for the moment? And I think, and again, putting all this back together, I have a lot of students who, unfortunately, they have addiction problems. Some of them addicted to weed, some of them addicted to these little vaping pen thingies. And I'm like, where do you find comfort? If your comfort is found in that little cartridge, it's not going to last. What is going to last is your dependency on it. And so my question this morning, what are you dependent on? What do you find comfort in? What brings you hope? Because the spaces that I put myself in, I'm learning that not all of them allow me to be my A self. If you have a confusion about what I'm talking about, I'll probably post it later, but I want to show up as my best self. And I can't always do that because of the spaces, they don't allow it, right? The people, they don't allow it. The energy, I can't do it. And so I'm like, all right, when that happens, how do I recover? What do I look for comfort? And I'm trying to be super intentional this year to really go to God for that comfort, really go to God for that solace. For when I need to recover from being around certain people, I want to go to God for that recovery. That's who I want to be my rod. That's who I want to be my staff. I want it to be God. I want it to be His word. I want it to be His people. I want it to be sitting in His presence. So this weekend, take some time. I want you to make a list of the people that you look forward to hanging out with. And then I want you to make a list of the people who maybe you put off spending time with. Maybe the people who drain you of energy at times, where the conversation is always about them. And then I want you to sit with that. Pray about it. I'm not saying to go avoid them, but pray about how you can show up as your best self in all the spaces that you occupy. Maybe you need to limit your time with them. If it's family, maybe you can't see them all the time. If it's a friend, maybe y'all need to have a conversation about more reciprocity. If it's a spouse or a loved one, definitely need to sit down and have that conversation. But don't put off finding this information out, because this information is invaluable. I have some decisions and choices I need to make based off of this new, not even new information. I knew it. I just writing it down did something different. So that's my challenge to you guys. Go find your comfort. Go find your staff. Go find where you get your energy from. And then find the spaces that drain you of that energy. And if you find out, if you actually take me up on this, I would love to hear what you came up with. You can hit me up in the chat, in the comments, or all that good stuff, or just message me on Facebook. Y'all know where I'm at. All right, people. Gotta go. Love you. Till next time. Peace. I thought I pushed the button, but I didn't. You thought I did too, right? You thought it was done? I'm still here, so I guess let's try again.